We're glad to see each one of you this morning. Glad to be back with y'all this morning. We didn't get to stay for the revival Sunday. I hate that we didn't get to make it to the services any this week. I heard y'all had a good revival. So even though we didn't see nobody saved, it ain't no reason to get down about it. I tell you, church moved forward. There's good revival services, and what went on last week made this been the step in the right direction to see lost souls saved. So it ain't no need to get down about those things. So I got to listen to one of the messages. That was a good message. So I thank a lot of Brother Greg and thank a lot of Brother Trevor. Appreciate both of them and what they mean to us. We'll be reading a little bit this morning out of 1 John in chapter 3, and then over in St. Luke in the 15th chapter. So we appreciate the cards and the gifts this morning, so we appreciate y'all. So today is our birthday, and I'm thankful the Lord gave me the first birth. Blessed me with good family, good friends along the way, good church. But most importantly, I'm thankful He blessed me with the second birth. I tell you, that first birth, I'm thankful for that. But more than anything else in this world, I'm more thankful for that second birth that He gave me one morning. That's the one that's most important. That's the one that's going to mean something, and one He's going to look at one day after a while. You could be born in the richest family, born in the biggest family in the world, or born in the poorest and the least of them all. None of that matter one day after a while. The only thing He's going to be worried about is if you've had that second birth this morning. And this week we began to study and just got to think about the love of the Lord, the love that the Lord has showed us along the way. Led us to this scripture this week. 1 John chapter 3, he said, "Behold, what manner of love the Father hath bestowed upon us, that we should be called the sons of God. Therefore the world knoweth us not, because it knew Him not. Beloved, now are we the sons of God, and it does not yet appear what we shall be, but we know that when we shall appear, we shall be like Him, for we shall see Him as He is. And in every man that hath this hope, in him purifieth himself, even as he is pure." Then in St. Luke, in the 15th chapter, in the 11th verse, it said, "And he said, a certain man had 2 sons, and the younger of them said to his father, Father, give me the portion of goods that falleth to me. And he divideth unto them his living. And not many days after the younger son gathered all together, and took his journey into a far country, and there wasted his substance with righteous living. And when he had spent all, there arose a mighty famine in that land, and he began to be in want. He went and joined himself to a citizen of that country, and he sent him into his fields to feed swine. And he would fain have filled his belly with the husk that the swine did eat. And no man gave unto him. And when he came to himself, he said, How many hired servants of my father have bread enough and to spare, and I perish with hunger? He said, I will arise and go to my father, and will say unto him, Father, I have sinned against the heaven and before thee, and am no more worthy to be called thy son. Make me as one of thy hired servants. And he arose and came to his father. But when he was yet a great way off, his father saw him, and had compassion, and ran, and fell on his neck, and kissed him. And the son said unto him, Father, I have sinned against heaven, and in thy sight, and no more worthy to be called thy son. But the father said to his servants, Bring forth the best robe, and put it on him, and put a ring on his hand, and shoes on his feet, and bring hither the fatted calf, and kill it, and let us eat, and be merry. For this my son was dead, and is alive again. He was lost, and is found. And they began to be merry. And that That's as far as I'm going to read down there. But over in 1 John, we went back to it. Lost our page there, but it began to talk about how we talking about that sonship that we have through the Father. Talking about that love that He had for us. I just began to think about the love that the Father had for me. One day we was lost and undone, but there was no good within us. But I'm thankful that He's seen when He looked down through time, like we've said so many times before. I'm thankful He looked down and He saw how needy of a creature man was. And I just get to think about that. And as wicked and sinful as mankind was, I'm thankful that He would still see the need that there would have to be a Savior born for us, that there would have to be a lamb slain that would pay our sin debt for us one day. And I just begin to think about that when it talked about it, said He commended His love for us, and that while we were yet sinners. Brother Will, I'm thankful that when I was unlovable, as unlovable of creatures I was lost in the world. I ain't gave no thought to God. No doubt I had been took to church and I had heard about Him and heard about the things that He'd done. I'd heard about the miracles and I had heard about how He would save lost sinners. But it was one morning that how real that thing come to me. And I tell you, it was those strong cords of love that it drew me and it actually meant something to me that morning. I tell you, there was many times that I sit there and those things just go in one ear and out the other. But I tell you, it meant something to me that morning. I'm thankful it's a powerful love, Brother Dwayne. It ain't just the love that you hear about and it don't have no effect to you. But I tell you, this is the love that the Father has. It'll have an everlasting effect on sinners' lives. I tell you, it's a love that it'll change their whole life. It'll give them a different outlook about things this morning. And it talked about this prodigal son there. He said that he went out and he joined talked about how he went out in this land and he joined citizens there. How he had this righteous life. I tell you, that righteous life was a life that wasn't worth living. And I tell you, that's just the place we want you to get to this morning. Where you realize that life that you live in, that sinful life, the out and sin, how you may not seem like you just ain't doing much bad, or you ain't out doing what we call these big sins, but I tell you, if you haven't been saved, you're still in sin just as much as you may, as an addict or whatever you want to look at, that's lost and undone. I tell you, you're just as much a sin as they are this morning. If you ain't saved and been born again, you ain't of no use to the Lord. When you get saved, and it said that we'd be called the son of, it said we'd be inherited into that family, that royal bloodline there. I think of that song Brother J.C. and them sang. It said I'm part of a royal bloodline. I'm thankful, Brother Will. I've told y'all before, I'm thankful today. I'm thankful for the family that I was born into, but most of all, I'm thankful for the family that I was birthed into one morning and that second birth. But it goes on down in Luke. It said when he came to himself, he said, "How many hired servants of my father's have bread enough and to spare, and I perish with hunger?" And I like that where it says when he came to himself. I'm thankful, Brother Dustin, I came to myself one morning. It wasn't nothing that I had done. I didn't come to my senses on my own, as we say. Brother Andy, it was the Lord that brought me to myself. It was Him that let me see what I was. I'm thankful for the Lord. He'll pick you out this morning. He'll let you see where you stand. A lot of people say, well, that's just something I can go do on my own time. I can go and be saved, or I can join up the church, or I can be baptized, and I get ready. But I tell you, it ain't church membership, it ain't a baptism or signing a card this morning, but it's when the Lord draws you, when He brings you to yourself this morning, when He lets you see what you are. I tell you, when He gets in your heart and He pricks that heart. I think about old Paul, and he said he was going down Damascus Road there, and he said he got pricked in the heart this morning. I tell you, the Lord, He'll do something to you, and it'll prick you in the heart. It'll let you see where you stand this morning. And it goes on there, and he says, "And am no more worthy to be called thy son, and make me as one of thy hired servants." And he arose and came to his father. But when he was yet a great way off, his father saw him and had compassion and ran and fell on his neck and kissed him. I'm thankful He had compassion on me one morning, Brother Dwayne. He could have looked all down through time, and he could have turned me away. A lot of people, they see our sins, they turn us away, they shun us. They wouldn't want nothing more to do with us. But I'm thankful He had compassion on me that morning. It wasn't nothing I'd done, but it's all what He done for me.
Amen.
But just like that old prodigal son, he said, go back there, it said, but when he was yet a great way off, his father saw him. I'm thankful He saw me a great far off down through time. Most importantly, Brother Andy, I'm thankful I seen Him. I seen Him in all His power. And I seen Him in what He was. Like John said, when he wrote, he said He was that lamb slain. He said He was the lamb to take away the sin of the world. I'm thankful He was that lamb, and I seen Him. I'm thankful when I got so lost in my sin, and He brought me to my senses, and let me see what I was. Like David said in one place, I believe it was, we may have even talked about it last Sunday, but he said, I thought on my ways. I'm thankful I thought on my ways one morning, seen what I was. And because of that, I seen that lamb slain at Calvary, and all His power, and all His glory. I seen that saving power. I seen His love. He didn't cast me away. And the best part about it is, Brother Will, is that through the journey, like that song them girls sung, it said, the God on the mountain, even the God in the bad times, is still the God in the good times this morning. I tell you, it's His love that'll keep you pressing on. Keep on going on a little further down the road this morning. And what we wanted to get to in 1 John, we just remember that it talked about, I think about those young ones up there singing that song. And talk about we shall see Him. We don't know what He'll be like now, but we shall see Him one day. And when we appear before Him, we'll be like He is. I'm thankful for that day we have to look forward to. You know, we didn't turn but 21 today, but we know we're just rolling on a little further. Rolling on a little further. So that day we'll get to appear before Him. So that day we'll see Him in all His power and get to really behold all His love one day after a while. I tell you, I look forward to that. I couldn't help but think about it this morning. I think about when them young kids up here saying, you know, we're not studying on that. You know, a lot of times we think of the older saints that's going on. But I tell you, if the Lord was to bring this thing to a close, I tell you, there's going to be those young saints up there with us saying one day after a while. There's going to be the old and young alike, all because of the love that He had for us one day after a while. As they come with the song this morning, if you've never felt that love that only the Father can give, I tell you, I'm thankful for the love that my mom and daddy have for me. I think about what Brother Johnny, a message we heard him preach a while back. It talked about, he was talking about how before he was saved, how he would go in his mom and dad's room because he felt protected. I tell you, that's just how we are. We feel protected naturally by our mom and dad. But I tell you, there's no greater protection and no greater love and comfort that you can get but by being in the Father's love this morning. As they come with the song, would you stand, church? 368.